Once upon a time, in a kingdom far, far away, there used to be a king and a queen who ruled with fairness and in harmony, until one day a curse was casted upon the citadel, and everyone was turned to stone. Everyone, except from a little girl, the one and only daughter of the king and queen. She was just a child, but she would grow up to be the only one who could free her people from the Dark Lord's curse. But she's not a protagonist. This story is about a treacherous and cunning thief. Okay, so today we're gonna do the Choose Your Own Adventure tag, where I will be pretending that I am in a fantasy world, like I don't do that all the time, where I will choose some fantasy characters that would fulfill a certain role in the story. I saw this tag before in a bunch of booktube channels, especially in Megan Reading Revelations and Andrew Wizardly Reads. I will link both channels in the description if you want to check them out. The questions were in order from 1 to 9, but I decided to write them down and put them in a bowl, so I would choose them randomly. Why do things in order if you can make a mess out of it? Also, and because I have a problem with uneven numbers, I added one question, so we will be answering 10 instead of 9. Okay, so the first one is going to be a champion. Choose a character to be your champion in a duel. Oh. Vin from Mistborn Era 1. Vin is the main character of the trilogy, and she is a Mistborn. She can burn all 10 medals, and she is such a badass. She is a force of nature. Vin is extremely powerful. She has a lot of mental trauma and stuff, but when it comes to fighting, she's a storm. She is a wildfire in a forest, and I seriously think that she could beat anyone or almost anyone who tries to fight her, at least in this world. Okay, second one. Love interest. This is the question that I added. A character you could fall in love with. And I was thinking in a lot of guys, but most of the guys that I love in fantasy, they are really gloomy and have some sort of depression or some trauma, and I have enough of that in my real life, so I decided to pick a girl that I could easily fall in love with, and she is Ginny Weasley from Harry Potter. Ginny, I'm talking about book Ginny because movie Ginny they kill her in the movies, really. Book Ginny is strong, is smart, she is brave, she is beautiful, she is funny, she is powerful. Oh my god, I love her character. I love how they develop her in the series, how she becomes such a powerful and strong witch. When she starts dating Harry, they have such a good chemistry together. She starts off like a little girl that has a really hard crush on Harry and is sort of obsessed with him, but as she grows up, she grows out of it. And I don't know, she's such an amazing character and I love her. The third one is found family. A character you could adopt or give a home to. I have the perfect answer for this one. Peter Pan. Peter Pan is a kid that lives in Neverland. He is a kid that doesn't want to grow up ever. He wants to stay a child. He hates parents because parents are so obsessed with adulthood. But he's such a lonely kid. He's a brat. He's super selfish, but he's hurting. He needs a family. He craves for love and affection. Even though he's determined to make people believe that he doesn't need that, he certainly does. In the end of the story, and I don't think I'm spoiling anything here because we sort of, like, almost everyone sort of knows the story about Peter Pan. When this mother decides or asks him if he wants her to adopt him, he thinks for a minute and he decides not to because he has this conception about parents. The end of this book just hurt me so bad. Okay, let's pick the fourth one. Fantasy twin, a character you can relate to on a personal level. Oh god, this is hard. Got it. Henry from The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. Henry he's such a complex character. He's such a complex person. He has a lot of insecurities. He is like black or white. He feels things way more intense than other does, and I am like that as well. And people have criticized me like my entire life because I feel too much. I am too emotional, and he's like that as well. And he craves for love and affection and acceptance. And I don't want to spoil anything about the book because I would love for you to read it. I actually made a dedicated review on this book, so I could put the link in the corner and the description down below if you want to check that one out. But there's a part in the book when they explain Henry's character, and they said, like, sort of like, it wasn't that he felt too much. It was like the dial was broken in the radio and the volume was all up. And I think that explains, that portrays really well how his character is. And I can relate so much to that because that's who I am. I've always been a Henry. So, fifth one, I guess. Yes. Damn it. Unlikable character. Name a character you love to hate. For this one, I would think like Umbridge at first, but I don't love to hate her. I just hate her with all my heart. So I'm gonna choose one from the Stormlight Archive. I'm going to choose Tavern Buddy. Tavern Buddy is a villain, but a villain that we love. At least I do. I find him so interesting, especially at the end of this book. He's a complicated character because we sort of feel for him to some extent, but he can be so evil and so selfish when he's at his best. He could be so unhuman, and like, how do I explain him without spoiling anything? He's such a complicated character. He can be either a really likable old man or a really cold, manipulative one, and that's what makes him so interesting. Let's move on to the sixth one. Best friend. A character who you could trust to be your best friend. John Tannen from the Gentleman Bastard series. The first book is The Lies of Locke Lamora. It's one of my favorite series of all time, and John Tannen is one of my favorite characters. The friendship between John and Locke is one of the best ones that I've seen in fiction, period. John is this big brute that could smash you to the ground with his fists, but he's such a softie inside. He loves Locke so much, more than anyone else, and he would go to the ends of earth for Locke. and luck would do the same for him. In the second book, Red Seas Under Red Sky, is their friendship. I think one of my favorite scenes of them being friends is in that book, and I cannot explain how much I love John's character. Let's move to the seventh one. Villain, a character with whom you wouldn't like to cross paths with. There are a lot of characters like this, like almost every villain I've ever seen. But I will choose Glotka from the First Law trilogy. I am still reading the first book, The Blade itself. I haven't finished it, but I do know that I wouldn't like to meet Glotka. He is such a dark character, and I don't think in the end of the book, like, I would overcome this feeling that I wouldn't like to meet him or cross him, because he would make me suffer so much, like in really gruesome ways. So yes, that would be my pick. Oh, damn it. Oh yeah, 8. Your hero, a character you aspire to be like. This one is difficult because there are a lot of characters that maybe Dalinar. No, Hermione Granger from Harry Potter. She is such a loyal friend. She's such a strong, intelligent woman, and such a loyal friend that she's capable to go to the end of the earth for her friends. She when they went to hunt the Horcruxes, she obliviated her parents. She took away their memories of her to protect them. She never left Harry when they were in the hunt of Horcruxes. She, in the third book, while they were still kids, when Harry received the firebolt from Sirius, when we thought that Sirius was a bad guy, she told McGonagall just to protect Harry, even if that meant that her friends Harry and Ron would be mad at her. In the fourth book, when she started the SPEW, like an organization to protect house elves rights, because house elves are enslaved, and she's such a just person. She wants justice for everyone, and she feels so bad that magical creatures sometimes are so mistreated. Like, she says so about Remus Lupin, like he's a werewolf and he's such a mistreated person because of that in the wizarding world. I don't know, there's so much to her. She's so powerful. She's the smartest witch of her age, for starters. She can be annoying and uptight. Yes, she's not the heart of the party, but without her, Harry and Ron would have died in the first book, and that's a fact. And she's beyond amazing. Let's go with 9. Tavern Buddy, a character with whom you'd like to have a drink with or spend the night out. And okay, my first thought, it was Fred and George Weasley from Harry Potter. They are just the funniest persons in the world, but I think they would make me gamble and bet my money, and I would lose it for sure. So I think this is not a good idea. So I'm gonna pick Wayne from Mistborn Era 2. Brandon Sanderson's humor in his books is not my jam. I don't usually like his humor so much, but Wayne is such a charming and cool character. I laugh out loud with him all the time. His obsession with hats and this thing he has, like, to justify his stealing, he just changes things for like something else that doesn't even have the value that the other things has. Like, I love his character. I laugh so much with him. I would love to have a drink with him sometime. Last one. Mentor. A character you would like to learn from or have as a mentor. And I'm gonna cheat here because I'm not gonna choose a character from a book, but of a show. And that would be Uncle Iroh from Avatar: The Last Airbender, for sure. I love Iroh's character. I think he's the best character in the entire show. He's such a wise and patient man. I love how much he loves Zuko and tries to make him see that he needs to make his path for himself and not to please his father. I think everyone who has watched the show has seen this episode, how was it called, the Tales of Ba Sing Se, when he goes around the city helping everyone, even helping a thief, because he just wants to be a better man than he was when he was a general in the Fire Nation. And then he meets his son, and it's such an emotional scene. I just love this man, and I would love to have him as a mentor because his philosophy of life is just so good. I just love him. Okay, those would be the 10 characters that I would choose to be in my own adventure, in my own fantasy world. I will tag some of my booktube friends here. I would tag Laura from the Reading Mushroom. I would tag Ariel from Reading and Whatnot, Ali from Book Bench, David from David's Book Reviews, Elsa from the French book Dreamer, and that would be all for now. But if you want to make this tag, just go with it. It's a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun doing this. Let me know in the comments what you think about the characters that I picked. Which characters would you pick for your own adventure? And if you want to stay tuned for more videos, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, ring the bell, and click on the subscribe button. I will be posting on Mondays and Thursdays. Thank you guys and see you soon.